taking you technology and printing technology too, which is why I am here this morning. And I don't know whether I have had the chance to teach you before. If not, then I don't know the number of students that are supposed to be on this platform before we can begin. Who is the course rep for this particular subject, please? I want to hear you out. There ought to be interaction. So if you can hear me out, kindly respond to me so that we can flow. Who is the course rep for this particular subject? Do you have a course rep? Hello, please, do you have a course rep?
Hello, sir.
Oh, can you people hear me out, or you are not hearing me
Yes, sir,
out?
we can hear you. We can hear you.
If you
Our
can hear
concept
me
is not
out,
yet
then
in.
yeah, so there should be response, please.
Sorry,
we don't have time, so I don't know why you are waiting. If you are hearing me out, all of your mics are muted. So if it is muted, I'm not also seeing you. There is no video over here, so there ought to be interaction so that we can flow. Now, if you are silent, I can't tell whether you are hearing it or not. So there should be that kind of interaction, please. It's very important because online sections are like that.
Okay.
If you keep silent, I don't know, there will be, the course ought to be very, very interactive. That is the significance of online. So please, let's make it very, very, very interactive. I've been teaching this. This is not the first time. I'm not a novice in this. I've been teaching this ever since we started this switch program. And we have taught a lot of cohorts. So I don't know whether, that's why I asked first, whether I have taught you before. Have I taught you before? Because I don't know you people. So
no, sir, no, sir.
Yes. So if I've not taught you before, and first time of meeting me, and I ask question, the whole platform is silent, it will not make our engagement very interesting. So please, let us try as much as possible to contribute to the development of this particular section.
Yes,
as I said, you don't have course rep for now, because there ought to be a lesson person.
Okay, sir.
Who liaise with you and me, and if possible, yeah. Hello? You were saying something, please. Shadrach, you were saying something.
So I think we should continue.
Okay. So you need to create a platform, because there are there will be opportunities for me to be sending you some additional links to as a form of resource to aid your teaching. And the way this particular discipline is, it's supposed to be very practical, very, very practical. And as we are doing it online, then there is a need for us to help you by adding more resource materials so that you'll be able to comprehend the subject better. I don't know the number that are supposed to be here before we begin. You are 6 now. How many numbers are we expecting here? You know your colleagues. How many numbers are we expecting here? So that we form a quorum before we start, so that we know what you are talking about. It's exactly, we have spent almost 10 minutes. So how many numbers are we expecting here?
Sir, actually, since it's all centers, and then we don't know the specific number for each center. So
do you have a platform? Do you have a platform?
The platform we had first was a platform we had first was for a joint group, which is mathematics and then the ICT combined to do some joint courses.
Okay.
So we are now gathering as communication design students now to form this one.
Communication design students?
Yeah. ICT and communication design.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. All right. Then I would entreat you to create a platform purposely for these 2 subjects. That is Industrial Printing Technology 1 and Industrial Printing Technology 2, so that we will see how best we can. So this is ICT students. So ICT students across. So fine. So we have 8. I believe we can start whatever we have to do today. All right. So as I indicated earlier, today's section is supposed to start from 11:50 to 4 p.m. today for Industrial Printing Technology 1. And on Sundays, we would do Industrial Printing Technology 2. But there is an arrangement that I have been having with my students year in, year out for every cohort. What I've been doing is that Industrial Printing Technology 1 is the foundation for Industrial Printing Technology 2. What I mean is that it lays the foundation, the entire concepts in Printing Technology 1, lay foundation for Printing Technology 2. And it will be quite confusing for you to be learning the 2 concurrently. And so, for instance, teaching you Industrial Technology 1 on Saturday and Sunday Technology 2, you would not be able to comprehend the concept very well. It will be very, very confusing to you. And so, since we learn from known to unknown, and since we learn from concrete to abstract, we need to look at the one which would be very, very, foundational to us, that we would have to understand first, because it's in one way or the other related to us more, which is Printing Technology 1. So I would finish teaching you Printing Technology 1 before I move to Printing Technology 2. So since I'm the same lecturer going to handle you for the 2 disciplines, we are going to exhaust all the 2 disciplines within the specific calendar given to us, so that if I teach on Saturdays technology 1, Sunday I'll continue with technology 1 till I exhaust every concept in technology 1 before we go to technology 2. By so doing, that is a scaffolding approach of teaching we build on. So we are going to build on that to understand printing technology 2, because printing technology 2 is more comprehensive and quite abstract and sophisticated. So we would look at the printing technology 1 first, so that it will lay the foundation for you. So when I start with printing technology 2, you would understand that, oh, okay, you have previous knowledge or the requisite skills in printing technology 1. Please, I hope the understanding is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that is what we would do. Yeah, that is what we would do, so that we can move on smoothly. That will help you. Of course, no curriculum is casted in stone. The curriculum ought to be very flexible, so that we know how to go by for the benefit of our learners. And so that is the approach that I'll be using for you. Yeah, it seems someone's hand is up. Edmond, how may I help you, please? Yeah, Edmond, I've given you the go ahead to speak, please.
It's a mistake, sorry.
All right. So if everything is clear now, then we can possibly start. Have you been given the course pack already? Have you been given the course pack?
No, sir. No, sir.
All right. Okay. All right. So this is what we have to also do. That is why I said there's a need for you to create a platform, add me to it. I don't know who would be in charge of that, but it will facilitate your learning very quickly, so that we can exhaust everything within the specific time given to us. So for today, I will be spending 2 hours with you. 2 hours with you. And the rest of the 2 hours would have to be rescheduled, because I have a very, very urgent issue to attend to. So we would have 2 hours of interaction, so that the rest of the 2 hours would have to be scheduled. If possible, we can chip it into tomorrow's, discourse, because it's going to be continuation. So tomorrow we are not going to do printing technology 2. It will still be printing technology 1, as I said, until we exhaust it. So that would be the arrangement. At the end of the whole section, I believe we should be able to comprehend all. So let me start by quickly proceeding by sharing my screen with you. And let's see. Okay, so thank you for your patience. Thank you so much for coming once again. We are coming to start with a very interesting discipline, which is Industrial Printing Technology 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had the chance to vote before, or we have been voting by thumb printing. We have been writing with pencils and pens. We have had the chance to get some marks on our body in one way or the other. It could be in a form of scarification, tribal marks, or even a wound that you have possibly carried some years back. We have had the chance to possibly visited the printing shop for our documents to be printed for us. We wear dresses. We wear dresses. We wear, dresses with prints, and other paraphernalia that, have been printed. We are in the printing environment. So printing is key for us to understand. So the whole concept is about printing, Industrial Printing Technology 1. That's the whole, that's it. The whole concept or the whole discipline is all about printing. So we want to know much about printing. All right. That is what the course is talking about. Everything that we need to know, understand, appreciate about printing. That is what we are going to look at. So just conscientize your mind, get yourself prepared that it is not something which is far away from you at all. It is not far away from you. It's within your jurisdiction. It is part of you. And I just said that you wear clothes or dresses that, have been printed. You also, in one way or the other, printed your document, your thesis, your assignment, and co. All right. You have seen people, or you yourself, you may be having some form of scarifications or travel mark. They are all prints. So we want to know much about printing. So we will be looking at introduction to print making. What is the concept of print making? What is it? If you're talking about printing or print making, what is it? We want to look at it. Then under the introduction to print making, we shall be looking at sections such as, the scope, the concept and the scope, direct printing processes, practical activities in direct printing, relief printing, how to prepare the manual blocks. Then we come to the image production so far as relief printing is concerned. Then we give you some practical activities in block printing for you to execute. Then we move to Unit 2, which has to do with integral printing process. We would know much about integral printing process when we get there. So under integral printing processes, we shall be looking at engraving, we shall be looking at etching, we shall be looking at aquatint, we shall be looking at dry point, we shall be looking at mezzotint, we shall be looking at graphite printing. And so these are the 6 sections under integral printing process, which is in Unit 2. Then we will proceed to the 3rd unit, which of course we shall look at relief and stencil printing. And so in this particular topic, we shall look at the historical developments of letterpress and lithography. And so we'll look at the historical development, the concept and the historical development. We shall also look at sheet stencil, tools and materials. We would also look at types of sheet stencil and preparation of single plate sheet stencil. We shall also be looking at preparation and dabbing of multi-plate sheet stencil and the defects in sheet stenciling. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll proceed to talk about the practical activities. We'll have some practical activities that ought to be done so far as sheet stenciling is concerned. We would also look at manual screen printing, the tools and the materials that are used. Then we come to Unit 4, which is screen printing itself. And then we look at the industrial screen printing equipment and links, preparation of the frame, screen preparation methods, photographic screen printing and its method. We'll look at screen printing, faults, productions, and reclamation. We'll also look at some activities that has to be done. All right. So we will look at all those activities that have to be done so far as screen printing is concerned. So ladies and gentlemen, under the printing technology 1, we have basically 4 units to exhaust. They are quite comprehensive, but I entreat you to conscientize your mind. Some of your colleagues have done it before, and it was so interesting. And I would also encourage you to contribute and participate effectively to the development of this particular, tutelage lecture. And if you're able to contribute, very wonderfully to the development of this, I can assure you that understanding will be very clear. Don't hesitate to ask questions. Don't hesitate to reflect after teaching has gone on. Reflect on all that you've learned. Do additional research. I'll be asking you to maybe watch YouTube or some of the practical activities so that you would understand it practically. All right. So don't hesitate at all to be flexible, because flexibility leads to progress and success, while rigidity leads to failure. And so that is all that I have for you so far as this lesson is concerned. I wish you all the best. And so I would like all of us to get ready as we fasten our belt to take off. And so get prepared for the task. So we would like to look at the first unit, and the learning outcome for the first unit is that by the end of the first unit, you will be able to demonstrate knowledge and understanding of the concept and scope of printing. That is 1. And 2, demonstrate knowledge and understanding of direct printing processes, and also demonstrate knowledge and understanding of indirect printing processes such as screen printing. These are the learning outcomes for today's interaction. All right, so quickly we would be looking at the concept and scope of printing. The concept and scope of printing. So if you are talking about the concept, we are looking at what is it? What is printmaking all about, that we need to understand. What is it? So we say printmaking is the act and process of transferring impression. So over here, there is a transfer. If you say transfer, it means that there is a surface that we have to pick an impression from and display it on another surface. That is transfer. So printing is from one surface to another surface, carrying an image, carrying a motif, carrying an impression. So that impression can be a design, that impression can be an image, that impression can be a motif. And so we carry it, then we display or stamp it on another surface entirely. So over here, when it is stated by Dennis and Jenkins in 1991, that printmaking is the act or process of transferring impression from one surface onto another. That's what we mean. That we carry one design from one surface to another. So let's give ourselves an example where we carry information or impression or a design or a motif from one surface to another. Example. Last year, you all went to the poll to cast your vote. You were given a ballot paper. You pick, an impression. Okay, so we will say that your term becomes your impression. So you dip that impression, which is your term, because your term is having design. So you picked that term, or you used your term, dipped it in an ink. Then stamp it on another surface, which is the ballot paper, for the print to be made. So that is carrying impression from one surface, which is your thumb, onto another surface, which is the ballot paper. Please, are we getting understanding? We need to flow.
Yes, sir.
Great. So that is printmaking. So printmaking itself is a process. Printmaking is a process of making print. So the outcome of printmaking, what we see as a result of printmaking, is what we call print. So once you stamp you pressed your thumb onto that ballot paper, you have made print. What you are seeing is the print, and the print was made as a result of the print process or printmaking process. So in other words, it is a process of transferring a design, an idea, or concept from an image carrier onto another surface. So what is an image carrier over here? We have a stamp, okay? Stamp something like a seal that we see on a very official document. So if you want a seal on that official document, it ought to be stamped. So you see that the stamp has been designed. It's carrying an image, it's carrying a design, it's carrying an idea. So that idea would be transferred onto another surface, which could be your letter, which could be your document. So printing has taken place. Once it has been stamped onto another surface, we are looking at print. So print has been achieved. So we have several processes that we use to make prints. However, in this particular, discipline, we are going to look at, we'll classify it into two broad processes. So we have direct printing processes and indirect printing processes. So in printmaking, we will classify it into two main, broad processes, which is direct printing processes and indirect printing processes. Now, let's look at direct printing processes. So direct printing, according to Amenuke, Dogbe, and co., said that it is the act of printing images direct from the natural surface of natural or artificial or man-made object. This is the act of printing image. So we are looking at direct printing process. It's a direct. So we are picking an image from a natural or artificial or man-made object. We are picking, you know, an object that is natural, that is having an image or design or impression on it already for transferring. That is direct. Example is the leaf, variegated leaves, leaves that are having, you know, designs on it. So once you apply ink on top of the leaf, you can stamp it onto or transfer it onto another surface entirely. Once it is done, it means that you pick the design directly without shaping it, without, you know, designing it on your own, because the design or the impression on that, you know, leaf is already there onto another surface. So direct printing has taken place. So the basic feature of direct printing is that the image to be printed is not deliberately created by you, the artist. It is not it is not deliberately created by you. You didn't design it. It's already there. So it's not deliberately created by the artist on the image carrier before printing onto the surface, but print from the design on the natural surface of the object. So the print, we just print it. The design is already on the natural surface or the artificial surface. So for instance, if you say artificial surface, it can be that you go and pick the sole of your sandals, the sole of your sandals. Then you apply ink on it and press it onto another surface. Don't forget, once you pick that, you didn't create the design. You, the artist, I'm referring to you. You didn't create it. You didn't alter it. So you are just making a replica of what you have found. You are just making an impression. You are just making a print of what you have found to be interesting. So direct printing can be made from the following objects. So we can make direct printing from leaves, tree barks, fruits, vegetables, and many more. So we have three basic methods of making direct prints. So if you want to do direct print, we have three basic methods, techniques that you can use to make that print. So for instance, when you pick your leaf, or you pick your tree barks, or you pick your sponge or the sole of your shoe, you can make the print to be seen through three main methods. The first one is rolling. Rolling. The second one is stippling. And the third one is stamping. Rolling, stapling, and stamping. These are the three basic methods of printing using direct printing process. Using direct printing process. All right. So if you are talking about rolling, if you are talking about stapling, we are talking about stamping. What are we referring to? What are you talking about? So you can, rolling is where we can wrap, okay, the design. We can wrap the design on the substrate. If you say substrate, we say substrate is a surface that we print on. So in design, we have substrate. Another name for the substrate is the support. So we have substrate, we have support. So if we ask you what is substrate in design or what is support in design, we are looking at the surfaces that we print on. We print on, surface that we print on. So for instance, if you say the rolling method, what we can say is that the print, the ink can be applied on that direct or natural object. Then we wrap around the substrate to cover the entire thing for the impression to be picked. That is it. Then stapling. Stapling. If you are talking about stapling, we can now dip a brush into a pigment, or what we call paint, what you normally call paint or ink. We can dip a brush into that pigment or paint, put our design or our paper down, place our natural object on top. Then we try to spread the ink on it to pick the outline of the object. Then stamping is you are pressing, where you carry the image or the image carrier. That is, for instance, the variegated leaf. You apply the ink on it, then you press it onto another surface with force. With force. So you stamp. That's like the way the name came from, stamp. You have to press it, use certain pressure to exert before you can see the print. So direct printing processes are used to produce different kinds of artifacts. So direct printing processes, we can see artifacts such as wallpapers, book covers, wrappers, chair backs, etc. They can also be used to decorate background of walls for interior decoration. Now let's quickly look at what indirect printing processes are. Indirect. We have just talked about direct printing process. So we now want to look at indirect printing process. So the indirect printing process, we are looking at the process of printing impression from deliberately created design. So this time you are the one who created the design. You didn't just pick it accidentally. So you created your own motif. You created your own design or image. It's different from direct printing, where we just pick all right, the already made designs, which could be naturally made or artificially made, which of course the artist, didn't do to make that print. And when we come to the indirect printing process, we are looking at the impression that is printed as a result of your creation. So we have 4 conventional printing processes used in direct printing, just like the way we have, the stamping, we have, the rolling, we have the third one, which is
Stapling, say, stapling.
stapling. So we are going to look at the indirect printing processes over here. So we are going to look at stencil printing. We are going to look at relief printing. We are going to look at intaglio or grave printing. We are going to look at lithographic printing. Let's pick the stencil printing and the indirect printing process. So under indirect printing process, we can use an approach, a technique, which is known as stencil printing. We can use an approach, a method, and the indirect printing, which is known as stencil printing. We have been seeing it all around, but we may not know that it is called stencil printing. So with this, what is the stencil printing over here? So here we are going to get a cutout design. So we are going to get a piece of paper or any surface, any material that we can print on. It can be leather, it can be leaf, it can be paper. Then we would design our motif on that piece of paper. After designing, you can design by tracing the design on it or by drawing it. So when we finish drawing our designs or impression on that surface, we will get what we call a cutter. To cut it out, to cut the design out. Then it will create a hollow design or image. So that hollow design or image would now be placed on another surface, which is the substrate or the support. Then we force an ink through that hollow design to make an impression. So that is stencil printing. Is someone's hand up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can ask your question, please.
So please, with the stencil, is it indirect because it's like you are creating it, but you said you use a leaf, and the leaf is natural. So when you trace out,
No. So as I said, we are looking at surfaces that we can design on. Right? So the surface can be a piece of paper, it can be leather, it can be leaf. But this time around, you are the one creating your design on that leaf. You are the one creating that design on that piece of paper. You are the one creating that design on that leather. So you cut the design out. You cut. So if you have created your design on that on that piece of paper, you cut it out. Okay, if you have created it on that leaf, you still cut it out. Now, the leaf over here, you are not looking at the impression which is already created naturally, but you have possibly done another impression on the leaf that you need to cut out. Please, are you okay with that? So that is the indirect aspect, because the indirect, you are the one going to make the impression. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm just giving you surfaces that we can design on. So it is not necessarily paper. We can design on rubber, we can design on plastic, we can design on metal sheet, we can design on leather, we can design on leaves. We can create our designs on those surfaces. So when we have the hollow design, which is created as a result of cutting your design with the help of the scalpel. So the technical name for the cutter is scalpel. So when we cut it out, you would now force, so it will create a hollow design for it. It means you have had your design, which is in a hollow form. It is cut out. So there is a hole. It is this hole that is on that surface that you are going to place the entire surface onto a substrate. So I said that surfaces that we print on, we call it substrate or support. So when you place it on the support, so your support can be your skin. It can be a wall. It can be your laptop. It can be your fridge. It can be the ground. It can be a piece of paper. It can be a leaf. It can be a gray baft. It can be calico. It can be anything. Then you will place that hollow design onto that substrate or support. Then with the help of foam or anything that can pick your ink. So it can be foam, it can be, a duster, it can be brush. Then you force the ink through the hole that you have created. When it is forced through, you lift the stencil out. So what you have created, that hollow design that you have created, is what is called stencil. That is the stencil that you have created. So using the stencil to print is the stenciling. So the process of using the stencil to print is the stenciling. That is it. Yes, someone's hand is equally up. So kindly ask your question.
Sir, when we're back in SHS, these visual students, our cardigans, they used to, maybe you want to write your name at the back. They use a piece of hard paper, then they draw the name on the paper, then they cut it out.
Yeah, exactly. That is
they
stencil
place that
printing.
at the back and use a foam to do the printing.
That is stencil printing.
Okay.
That is it.
Thank you.
So that piece of paper is the stencil. So the process of using the stencil to print is the stenciling. And the outcome becomes stencil print. I don't know whether I'm clear over here. So the process is also called porous printing. So there are two basic methods of stencil printing: sheet stencil and screen stencil, or sheet stenciling or screen printing. Sheet stenciling and screen printing. Screen printing is also called silk screen printing or calligraphy. So we will come to calligraphy. We'll come to silk screen printing. So we'll get to is part of it. So we'll get to know that. But that is what we normally use in printing T-shirt, Lacoste, and those days. Now, these days, it has now become embroidery and so on, heat transfers and what. But we use screen for the printing. So the material that is used to form the calligraphy or the screen, printing is organdy, or we call it mesh. So we'll be looking at that. We'll be looking at that. So that is stencil printing. Now, another indirect printing, approach or technique is relief printing. Relief printing. That is another one. Now, what is the relief printing all about? He said this is the art of printing from a raised surface. A raised surface. In relief printing, the image or design to be produced is created on a flat surface of an image carrier called block. I will explain it to you. To project or raise, protrude or stand out on the surface so that the unprinted areas of the block will lie low on the surface. The design or image that is raised on the surface of the block is termed relief. So, what is relief printing? Let me give you a typical example. So you can pick a block. What is a block? Anything that is concrete that you can hold and touch in a square form. It can be in a cube form or in a cuboid form. Okay, then so let's say you have a foam or soap. Let's say key soap or soaps that you have been using to take your bath. Now you would design, let's say you have designed something like hat, okay? Something like hat, you have drawn hat on it with the help of a pencil or pen. You have drawn that impression on that surface, one of the flat surfaces, you have drawn it. Then, with the help of a cutter, you chip off the unwanted area. So if you draw hat, if you want to print hat, so you chip off the areas that, we call the negative areas of the design. You chip it off. So you chip it off so that place will lie low. The negative area will lie low. Where the design is called the positive area. So the positive area will be projected. So when you cut the negative area low, automatically you are projecting the positive area. So when you dip, all right, the block onto your ink or into your ink, the block will only pick the protruded area. That is the positive area where the heart is. It will only pick it, leaving the negative area because that place is low. It will not be able to pick the ink. So you will now, press the block with the ink onto your substrate for a design or image to be created. For a design or image to be created. So that approach of printing is relief, because the relief is where you are printing from a raised surface, a surface that has been raised, a surface that has been raised as a result of chopping off the unwanted areas. So that is relief printing. So in relief printing, the relief can be low, medium, or high. So we are talking about the height of the relief, the height of the relief, the height of the negative area that you have chopped off against the positive area that is carrying the image. So it can be very low. So low means that you are not chipping off much of the negative areas, something slightly. Mid means, of course, it's mid. High means it is very well projected. So, is it tie and dye? Those who do the tie and dye and batik, they normally use the relief printing, method. There are 3 types of relief printing processes. 3 types. So we have the letter press printing, block printing, and lithographic printing. When these are concepts that we'll be learning on its own. So when we get there, we would explain it for better comprehension. So ladies and gentlemen, another printing technique that we have to look at, apart from the stencil and the relief, is intaglio. Yes, please, your question.
Yes, sir. Please, I would like to know, you were talking about the relief, one being, it could be high, it could be low or medium. Does any of them affect how your printing will look like? Will it affect
It depends on the complexities of your design.
Okay.
Yes. It depends on how complicated your design is and how simple your design is. And it also depends on the type of substrate that you are using. If the substrate is very soft and you use low relief, if care is not taken, you may be seeing the negative areas forming part of the positive area as your print.
Okay.
I hope you are clear with that.
Yes, please. Thank you,
right.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that is that. Now, so let's look at a intaglio printing process. What is the intaglio printing process or technique of printing? Now, this is the process of printing from a sunken or depressed surface. So this is the direct opposite of the relief. The integral printing, the image can be created on a block or a metal plate in reverse, and the ink is transferred from the image onto the printing surface through capillary attraction. Integral printing is the direct reverse of relief printing. So as I already indicated, that is the direct opposite of the relief printing. So the relief printing, the image is projected, and integral printing, the image is rather sunk in, is rather depressed. So that is that. Integral printing is a direct reverse, don't forget, of relief printing, in that the area to be printed are cut or etched. So if you say etching, so etching simply means you are creating a very narrow trench. You know, when we were children, our parents would ask someone who writes, okay, to come and write our names on our various plates that we've been using to eat for identification purposes. And this person will use a very sharp tool, metallic tool, to scratch the surface of the plate, of the aluminum plate, so that we'll have an impression which is sunk in. If you have not witnessed that era before, then today's era where they play matches, FIFA World Cups and La Liga and Premier League, as soon as the winner emerges, what happens? Someone should tell me what happens as soon as the winner emerges. What happens to the cup? Someone should tell me what happens to the cup. Yes.
So they inscribe the name of the winning team on the cup.
Great. So you have seen it before. You have seen. So they will inscribe the name using a sharp tool. So that sharp tool will create a trench on the surface of the cup. So that one is sunk in. So that is a typical example. This is what we call etching. Etching. So it is cut or etched onto the backing material to create grooves or trench or gutter or incision, depressions or wells in the surface. In integral printing, deep grooves print sharp designs. So if the trench or the grooves are deep, it will give you very sharp design. If it is shallow, the designs will not be very sharp. So integral printing could be manual or mechanical. When we come to printing technology 2, we'll be looking at that. Printing technology 2, we'll be looking at that. So that is integral printing. So the press type of integral printing is known as grave printing. So we'll be looking at grave printing in printing technology 2. Because in printing technology 2, we are looking at machine printing, mechanical printing, and those ones, which is why I said that we cannot go to the mechanical and the machine printing without looking at the basic ones. So these are the basic ones that we are talking about under printing technology 1. So grave printing, we shall look at it. There are 5 major types of integral printing: engraving, etching, dry point, mezzotint, and aquatint. We shall be looking at all this. Then another, which is the last one to talk about, so far as indirect printing is concerned, because we've spoken about direct printing and indirect printing. So the last one under indirect printing is lithographic printing. Lithographic printing. Lithographic printing is a process in which the image is created to lie flat on the image carrier In other words, it is the method of printing from a flat surface. The basic principle behind the process is that water and oil do not mix. So over here, there is, water and oil is applied. Okay, so water is applied onto a surface, or ink is applied onto a surface for an ink which is water-based to be applied on it. So when you print it, the print will come out, leaving where the water is, because it will repel it. This one, it will become more graphical when we go to the printing technology too. We will see. So that's why I said we need to this one is not very common. They were using it way back. This method, is no longer in use. Lithographic method of printing. When you add me to your platform, I'll show you, videos of how those things were done in the past. So that is the approach, lithographic method of printing. So that is all for the first one. Any question, please, before we move on? Any question or contribution? Question, contribution. Then we move on. Yes, maybe it's 1 second. I like the way I initially you didn't start very well, but I want a very interactive lesson. Question where questions are, ask questions, any form of questions, contribute to the development of the lesson, and we are good to go, so that the understanding will be so clear. I have been saying that these particular disciplines are supposed to be practically based, tutelage, teaching, but here's the case: we are doing it online. So once it is online, we have to explain it vividly for you to get, so that the picture will be created and understanding will be there. So thank you very much. Let's go to Mavis. Her hand is up.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
your question.
Thank you so much. Please, with the lithography or lithographic.
Yeah, lithographic.
Yeah, there was something I saw some years ago, a kind of printing, but then they put the oil paint in water and probably do some scribbling, different colors of oil paint in water. And it will be
we
floating.
call it, yes.
Then they will put a paper on it so that the paper absorbs.
So that one is different from lithographic printing.
Oh, okay.
So that one is called marbling.
Marbling. Okay,
yes, that one is called marbling. And so in marbling, we have controlled marbling, okay, controlled marbling and uncontrolled marbling. So that one is called marbling.
All right.
Yes. But this one, the lithography, this is where there is a flat sheet of metal, surface where we make our design on it, and it is very the impression on that flat sheet of paper is very, very shallow. Very shallow. And I have it. I have this thing to show you. But even if I show you it to you on this device, you will never see, because it's very shallow. So the only thing that would will make it very visible for you to see is when we use it to print. And so we will add, maybe it's going to be oil paint against water. Oil and water doesn't mix. So where the water is, the ink would not, the impression will not show. So it will repel it. So it's a very quite technical, and even if I show it to you, you will not be able to see it. It's a plate that they were using it to, in fact, that is what they used to print this olden days daily graphics, PNP and whatever, where the picture is basically black and white. So that is what we call lithographic method of printing.
Yeah, okay, thank you, sir. So I also made, if I understood the stenciling, I've just made some small something I want to show. I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, you can show it. I believe we
Okay,
are.
I'm
So
showing
you
the
have, yes, you have. So what we
I,
can see now is that you
I have
have,
the end here, so I've taken this out.
exactly. So you have created your stencil now. So that is your
So this is what
stencil.
I have. Okay.
So this is what we call the stencil. So the method or the process of using this stencil to print is called stenciling.
Okay.
And the outcome of your print is stencil print.
Stencil
I
print.
hope
All
you
right,
get
sir.
that point now. Okay,
All right,
so
sir.
that is it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. All right. So any question once again? Any question? Any question? All right. Thank you. Yes, Dakum.
Okay, sir. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
All right. So with the what you said about the relief printing, I guess the regular stamp that we use in our offices falls under relief printing.
Exactly. That is relief printing. That is it. The regular stamp that we use in our relief offices.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Thank you, sir.
That's it. That's perfect. That's a perfect example that I cited. So that is a very perfect one. And I believe you're all getting it. I believe you're all getting it. Thank you so much for getting it. All right. And so, yeah, sure. That's great. Should we proceed?
Yes.
Am I moving too fast or too slow so that I regulate my, moderation? I need to hear from you first. Is it
Sir,
too
it's
fast
okay. It's
or
okay.
too
It's
slow?
okay. Let's move.
All right. Okay. Let us flow. So we have, after every section, you see that we have some self-assessment questions. Please don't hesitate to do the self-assessment questions so that that will be very reflective of you. So you are supposed to explain printing. Explain printing. I prefer using the word explain printing or what is printing than define printing. So if we are asking you to define, it means that you have to quote, you have to make reference according to so and so. Printing is this and that and that. Okay, so in art we normally explain because it should be graphical for better comprehension. So you can explain what printing is in your own words. So in your own words, let's try and explain what printing is. So what is printing in your own words? Let's try and do it right here, for us to get. What is printing? How do you understand printing? Someone should tell us. What is printing? How do you understand the meaning of printing? What is printing? Yes. What is it? Your own understanding. What is it? What is printing? Well, we have about 27 people over here in Korea. It seems it's been one person all over. Don't forget, this contribution participation is also key to whatever, because at the end of the day we will be awarded marks over here for your CAs, and that is going to be presentations and those ones would also be added. Okay, so you need to get good grades. You need to get whatever. What I would entreat you to do is to be always up and doing. You need to be coming regularly. Anytime we schedule this thing, you need to be there. Sometimes some of those that have had issues with their result and some of them will not come at all. Some of them will not come, thinking that it is online. We are not keeping a record. But let me say it emphatically that this we have been recording. UCC, we have someone who monitors the platform, who will be recording every section so that we know those who are very, very punctual so that, sometimes when it's time for the presentation, you will not see them anywhere. Later on, they'll come and tell you they had IC. But of course, if you didn't do presentation and your mark wasn't recorded, surely we would not fabricate any mark for you. But once you contribute, you are regular, you are punctual, you are good to go. The A is rest assured. The A's are meant for you. They are not meant for anybody. And so it's good you started on a good note. And I'm enjoying your contributions so far. So what is it? Yes, yeah. I could say there's one, Eric. I could see Eric, and there's another person. Is it Mist? Mist? I've not opened the whole distance, so I'll not be able to see it. All right. So yes, your question, please. One after the other. Hey, not the question, your response to my question, please.
Hello, sir.
I can hear you, sir.
Okay. My understanding of printing, I would say it is the art or process of transferring an impression from one surface to another.
All right. That is fantastic. That is great. Any other? Yes, Misty. I could say Misty.
I'll also say the process of putting documents or images on the surface.
Putting. So if you say putting an image onto a surface, so you have tried, you have done well, but it is a bit incomplete to satisfy the meaning of printing. And so maybe placing or putting an image onto a surface by pressing. I hope you are getting it. So by pressing, then that one you have satisfied it. Thank you so much. Yes, okay. Mary. Yes, your hand is up.
Yes, please, sir. It is a process of making an impression on a surface or on a support from another surface.
Great. From another surface. From another surface. That's another fantastic one. Thank you very much. So what are the two main classifications of printing processes? What are the two main classifications of printing processes? Yeah, Ray.
Yes, sir. We have the direct and then the indirect processes.
Good job. Good job. Good job. So that is all. And we are good to go now. All right. Now let's come to section 2. Now the direct printing processes. Okay. Though we have explained it, basically this is a practical way of doing it. This is a practical one. So by the end of the lesson, under the direct, we have already explained direct printing. We have mentioned that the processes that we use in direct, printing are basically 3. We have rolling, we have stamping, and we have stippling. And so we want to look at all of them over here. So by the end of this section, section 2, by the end, learners will be able to one, state different methods of making direct print and describe the different methods of making direct print, and also use direct printing methods to make print. So that is that. So let's look at rolling method. So this is the process of rolling a piece of folded twirled paper or rag or sponge charged with color on a surface to transfer the natural design on the rolling material onto the surface. How do you understand that? This is the process of rolling a piece of folded twirled paper, rag, or sponge charged with color or ink on a surface to transfer the natural design, all right, to transfer the natural design on the rolling material onto the surface. How do you understand this one? Anyone? Okay. So let's proceed. Yes, someone's hand is up. Yes.
Hello, say.
Yeah.
So with this, the rolling technique or method, you can get yourself a roller, a painting roller.
Okay.
Then get a shoelace. Then you tie the shoelace, you roll it around the roller. Then you apply ink on the shoelace, which is tied tied to the roller. Then you can roll it on a wall. You get those impressions done on the wall.
Okay. Yes, any other?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
This is David. Please, so as you said this, as we are addressing this one, my mind just cast to the bakery department where they usually produce, these small design chips. They have. My mom used to operate one. They have this big roller with designs on it, and then they'll press it and roll it on the dough. As they do, it will cut the pressed dough into smaller shaped pieces, which they bake. I don't know whether that one is a method of rolling, like printing a design using the rolling method.
So it is still under that one is relief form of printing, unless of course it was just fetched. If your mom possibly designed those things on the roller before pressing it onto the cake or onto the dough.
The designs are already on the roller. The designs are already on the roller.
Okay.
So
all right.
She roll it on the dough, you need to be cutting the shapes on the roller, and then we then collect the shapes and then bake them. I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Okay. Now let's see how it works. So first, you are supposed to obtain your desired rolling material. Obtain your desired rolling material. All right. Any material that can cover a material that is flexible. Okay. So after that, prepare the printing surface. Prepare the printing surface to a good finish and secure it onto a flat surface in case of paper or fabric. Okay, so you are going to, so if your printing surface is ready, if your printing surface is ready, you are going to put your flat surface onto it, okay, and make sure it doesn't shift. You have to secure it so that it doesn't shift from the background. Now, cut a piece of paper, sponge, or rag and twirl it in your palm. Now, if you cut a piece of paper or sponge and twirl it in your palm, then thin the printing ink to medium consistency. I'll be explaining to you. To medium consistency. Pour some of the color onto a palette. Pour some of the color onto a palette. A palette is a flat surface where you are going to pick our ink from. Charge the printing material with the color and discharge it slightly on a different palette. On a different palette. Roll it on the surface by starting from bottom to top. While rolling, overlap each row by about 50%. Now, the rolling is just like you have your design. You have your design that is flat. Then you spread your ink onto the design, which is flat. It is well fixed. It is well secured on a very flat surface. Then what you have to do is to apply your ink from your palette onto the design, which is lie down flat. Then whichever substrate that you have, you place it on top of the design that you have created. Then you press, you roll it over. You can use a roller or rolling. So we call it. We have brayer and roller. So you can use a brayer or a brayer or roller. So to press it on top of the substrate while the design is beneath it. Then as you pull it out now, the impression that is on that design would now be seen on the substrate. So it is something you are wrapping around the substrate. You are wrapping it around the surface that is having the impression. And the surface that is having the impression is having an ink already. So you will just place or wrap around your material to cover the entire impression. Then you use a roller on top of it. You can use a roller or you can even press it. Press it gently with another rag, another sponge, or another. You can also, as I said, you can use roller or brayer. You can also use sponge. You can use rag to press the surface. Don't forget, the design is beneath. The design is fixed down permanently. Then the paper is placed on top. It is still going to give you the direct printing stuff. Okay, so this time around, the design is lie down for the paper to be on top. The design is carrying the ink for the paper or the material or the substrate to be on top. Then you press it with the help of a roller or you press it with the help of a foam or sponge. Then when you pick it, you pull it out, you see the impression on that surface or on the substrate. So that process is known as rolling method. That is the rolling method. Yes. Your full name is not there. This is Akotia. Akotia Richard. Yes.
Sir, please, I'm confused somewhere and I need some clarity. I want to ask that, is it that when we come to the rolling as a method of direct printing, is the actual image to be printed on the surface going to be on the roller, or the actual image is already on the surface and we are printing a natural design with a roller, like a motif in the design we are in the on the image that we have already constructed on the surface. I want to get the understanding.
All right. Yes, before the understanding over there, anyone with yes, Mavis, you also have to.
Yeah, sir, please, if I understand you, I'm likening the whole process to, let's say I have a very nice leaf and it's on the surface. So I will apply the ink on the leaf. Then I will put my paper on the leaf with the ink. Then I'm going to roll something over, or a sponge or something at the back of my paper, so that the roughness of the leaf or the image of the leaf is picked by my paper picks the shape of the leaf, or how the leaf
as a result of pressing,
rolling at the back of the paper, or rolling using a sponge or whatever. Please,
that's exactly what we are talking about over here. That's the rolling method that we are talking about over here. So you know, some of the impression can also be in a circular form. Some can also be flat. So what happens is that you are just going to wrap your substrate around the impression. So if it is a variegated leaf, you are going to apply, just like the way you said, you are going to apply your ink on the variegated leaf. So once you apply your ink on the variegated leaf, what will happen is that you will now put your piece of paper, which is your, I don't want to be using paper often because it can be any material. So let me use the term support.
Fabric.
Your support or your substrate on the inked variegated leaf. Then you use the roller, or you use a sponge, or you use another soft material to wrap it. So when you wrap it, you will now pull your substrate off the variegated leaf. Then the texture or the print will be seen on your support. That is exactly what we are talking about. So Richard, I hope you get it now.
Yes, I'm clear.
Yeah, thank you so much. That is exactly what. So when we talk about a method, so when we are going to look at roll-to-roll printing in the when we come to printing technology 2. So I'll be showing you mechanically how that one is done, mechanically how that particular type is done. So that's like how the printing press, they use that approach a lot. So I'll be showing you a video of how that one is done. That's mechanically. But if you are doing it manually, that is what I'm showing you. So the manual one is what we are talking about now. So the printing technology one has to do with manual method of printing. Everything is manual, basically. And the printing technology 2, everything is mechanical or electronic. So that is it. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Stippling. So this is the art of stippling the surface of an object against a ground to make print. This is usually done with natural or man-made, sponge, brush, broom, and others. Now let's see how it goes so that you will be able to come out, with it. Select a suitable stippling material such as fiber sponge. 2, secure the printing material onto a flat surface. 3, twirl a piece of the stippling material in your palm slightly and trim off part of it at one end to obtain a level cross section. 4, tint the printing color or ink to a medium consistency. 5, pour some of the color onto a palette. 6, charge the trim edge of the material with the color and discharge slightly on a different surface. The last one, stipple the color gently onto the support to create the dotted effect. What are we talking about over here? What are we talking about over here? So in this case, what are we talking about? What we are talking about is that it's just like picking, right? This is another way of making impression. So you can use brush, you can use foam, you can use sponge, you can use any material that can absorb, ink. We are looking at the printing method. Any material that can absorb ink. Any material that can absorb ink. I mean, that's what we are talking about over here. Okay, so once the material can absorb ink, you would now use the material to pick the ink on a flat surface after it has been mixed. Or you can even pick it from a container after, let's say, mixing your poster color or mixing your ink or acrylic. You just pick it with it. Now there's a way of doing it. You either stipple the color gently onto the support, okay, or you use your finger, all right, to flick the tip of the brush so that the ink would fall onto the area that you want to print. Now, many a time, this method, we normally use it to print the edges of designs, the edges of designs. So for instance, when you pick when you pick the leaf, you want the edges of the leaf to show. The edges of the leaf to show. What happens is that you place your leaf, you can all try it, you place your leaf, which is direct, onto a support. Once you place it onto a support, you hold it firmly so that it doesn't shift. So you have to secure the printing material on that support, which is the flat surface. Then you use your foam or rag to pick. So we normally call it dabbing. This process is also called dabbing. Dabbing. Normally at SHS, some of them use the term dabbing. So you pick the ink with the help of the rag or sponge or brush so that you can apply it around the edges of the leaf. So once you are dabbing it onto the support, you are getting a dotted effect. All right, so that dotted effect the more you apply it, the more the dots seal. You know, you will not see any dot again. But if you start applying, you see that the first application you have some dots over there. If you apply it more, the dot will be sealed, giving you the edges neatly done. So basically, we print it out there, we pick off or we take out our leaf so that we can see the edges or the design of the leaf on the piece of paper or on the support. That is what we are talking about as stapling. Is this explanation too clear? Great. All right. Then we come to stamping. The stamping. Okay. So the stamping, I will just we have, is that this is the art of dipping the surface of an object. Okay, so this one, you are dipping the surface of the object that you have done. Dipping the so you have you have the leaf. We are still using the leaf. The first one, the rolling, we use the leaf. The stapling, we use the leaf. So let's also use the leaf over here. So this is the art of dipping the surface of an object into color and stamping it onto a ground to make a print. So you apply the color onto the leaf, then you stamp it onto another surface, which is the support or the substrate. You press it. So this place pressing is required because the ink is on the object. The ink is on the variegated leaf. So you press it, that's stamp. So stamping can be made with following material like leaves, sliced fruits, vegetables, plantain. So you can even cut, let's say, an orange into two after you are finished enjoying the fruit. All right, there you apply the ink, all right, on top of the cutout and the half, the edge. You apply it on top of it. Then you stamp it by compressing it onto another surface for a print to be done. That is the stamping for you. As the name even, suggests, you are supposed to stamp. You are supposed to apply pressure. So that is the following. This follows the same process as rolling procedure. This follows the same process as rolling and stamping effect, except that with stamping, the pattern of arranging the motifs are marked out on the support before stamping. Now, if you want to stamp, you need to demarcate areas that you are going to stamp, so that it will not move from the mark out area that you want to stamp, so that it will just be in pattern. It will follow a very consistent rhythm. It will flow, so that it will not be done haphazardly. No. So you have to map it out. So as it will shift. Right? If you're not strategic, you don't map it, it will shift. All right, in an attempt to do it consistently in an orderly manner, you may see that some will be deraying. So when you mark it out, it will follow that. Sometimes you can draw the squares with a pencil very faintly, so that you know that you will be able to stamp it into the various spaces that you have marked marked out. So that is it. Now let's look at fruitage printing or fruitage. Others call it fruitage method of printing. Fruitage. So what is fruitage method of printing? Over here, we are going to wrap. This one we are going to wrap and apply pressure. We have been doing this over and over. We have been doing it a lot. It's just a matter of, let's say, pick a coin. We have been doing it back at primary schools. Even till now, some of us still do it. Or just pick a variegated surface. Okay, it can be a coin, a projected surface, a relief surface. Then place that surface down. Place that coin down on any platform. When you place it down on any platform, put your paper, okay, put your paper or rubber on it. It can be paper, it can be rubber on that variegated surface. Then you use your pencil or crayon to wrap the surface where the variegated object is. You rub it. Once you rub it consistently by applying pressure, you see that the impression of the variegated object is now coming, or is now coming out. You are now seeing the impression on that piece of paper. I hope you have seen that before. That's what we call fruitage or fruitage method of printing. So you can try it by putting any variegated object. If you say variegated, any object that is having relieved surface, that is well designed, that you can pick impression from, put the paper, all right, on top of it. Just get the basic one is to get a pencil or crayon, then wrap it consistently. All right, don't forget that the support is on top of the variegated object. Then wrap it on top of it till you get your impression. That is what we call fruitage method of printing. I don't know whether you get that one too. If you get it, let me see some thumbs up. If you don't get it, let me know so that I explain it better again. Okay, all right. So that is there. So you can try that one. You can always try that one. We have been doing it. It's something that we have been doing over and over and over and over. So we can get our fruitage print from sand, from leaves, from rock, from tree barks, from coin, okay, from pebbles. So we can get it right there. Okay, so let's go to mono print. Mono print. So this is stamping. And so stamping A, stamping B. So you realize that we have stamping over here. Okay. So there we have the sponge stippling method. Okay. Then the rolling one. Then we can roll around it and whatever. It doesn't mean that this is the only effect that you would see. It depends on what you are using. So in this case, the person used something like a sponge. All right. So that is that. Let's also look at rag rolling, paper rolling, and so on. That's another fruitage. Fruitage. So you can see the fruitage one over there. Okay, so let's look at the last one, which is monoprint. Monoprint. This is a printing method in which one design can be printed at a time. Only one design can be printed at a time. If you say one design to be printed at a time, what does it mean? Let's go. To make a monoprint, mono means one. Mono means one. So one time print. One time print. So to make a one-time print, all right, a thick printing paste is poured onto a glass palette. It is spread over the entire surface of the palette and rolled over with brayer. All right, so there's a brayer, just like the ones that painters use, okay, to paint walls. That's what we call a roller or brayer. The one that the painters use, we call it roller. The one that the graphic designers use, we call it brayer. So they are all used to pick, all right, to pick paint. Graphic designers use brayer and painters use roller. So we use the roller or the brayer to apply a thick paint onto a palette, all right, to obtain a very even coat. So the coating will be so even. The printing paper is placed on the ink and the design is drawn directly on the sheet with a hard material. So in this case, once you finish, just like just pick a glass. Let me show you how it is done. Just pick a glass. You are going to do that on your own. So the palette is just like a broken glass, okay, or a plate, or rubber plate, or whatever, which is very flat. Okay, just pick it. Then mix your ink. It can be acrylic, it can be poster color. Mix it so that it becomes quite thick. It shouldn't be watery. If it is watery, it will bleed on the surface. So it should be able to stand. Okay, mix it. Then pour what your mixture onto that surface, which can be plastic or glass. Pour it on top of it. So when you pour it on top of it, use the brayer or the roller, whichever you have, to apply it so that we'll have even consistency, even coating on the entire glass. Maybe depending on the substrate that you want to use. If your substrate is A4 bond paper, you know, remember, we don't have any paper called A4 sheet. There's no paper on F called A4 sheet. Take note of that. Every paper is having name. So what you have been calling A4 sheet is A4 bond paper. A sheet can be bond, a sheet can be manila, a sheet can be newsprint, a sheet can be elephant, a sheet can be chromo coat. We have names. These are whatever. So A4 sheet simply means any sheet that is cut in A4 sized. So if you say A4 sheet, we are talking about the size of a sheet of paper. The size of a sheet of paper. So we don't have any paper called A4 sheet because every paper can be A4 sheet. Every paper can be A4 sheet. So what you have been referring to, what you normally draw on when you were at JSS and SHS, technical drawing, whatever, is not called A4 sheet. It's called bond paper. So the bond paper. So the bond paper can be A4. The bond paper can be A3. The bond paper can be A2. The bond paper can be A1. So that is it. So next time, if you want to call that paper, don't refer to it as A4 sheet, but you can refer to it as A4 bond paper. The name of the paper itself is bond paper. So if you want an A4 size, then you can call it A4 bond paper. So that is it. So once you have spread out your ink evenly and consistently on that flat surface, which can be glass or which can be plastic, place your A4 bond paper on top of your glass where you have already spread your ink. Place it gently on it. After placing it gently on it, you can use the tip and the back of your pen, not the tip. All right, not the tip, the back of your pen. Or you can even use your fingertip to draw whatever you want to draw, to make any design, all right, on top of the paper. So when you make any design on top of the paper, don't forget that the paper is covering the ink, which is on the glass paper. Which is on the glass. So you use your thumb or any tool to make any design of your choice at the back of the paper. Where you make it, where you pull the paper out, you make the print based on the design you made with your device or with your thumb. So once you do that, the ink on that glass palette or plastic palette is picked. It's picked based on the impression. It is mono because you cannot repeat it again because that part of the ink is gone. So that is why we call it one-time print. You can print it only once. So that is what is known as mono printing. Please, I hope the understanding is clear. All right. Thank you. So I said I will spend 2 hours with you today. Have I exhausted the 2 hours? Have I exhausted the 2 hours with you?
At 12.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So I have to go somewhere. I have to go somewhere. So just to get, so let's draw conclusion by looking at session 3, which is the practical activities in direct printing. So I'll encourage you to do these practical activities, okay, so that the 2 hours, fine. We are going to use the rest of the 2 hours for this practical activity. So we don't have to reschedule it again. So I'm giving you 2 hours for these practical activities so that tomorrow when we meet, we will be seeing the practical activities that you have done, just like the one, Mavis? Is it Mavis showed us? She has done something. Is it Mavis?
Yes, please.
Is she the one?
Yes, please.
Someone showed us. So just like what Mavis, has done, you are also going to do similar one. But this is the ones that you'll be doing. So so by the end of this practical, whatever, you will be able to produce artifacts using stamping, stapling, rolling, and frottage. So look at the activities over here. Activity 1, application of stamping method. So it says use stamping method to design an interesting wrapper. You will be required, or you will require the following items for your project. So you can see that we have A3 white manila card. A3 white manila card. So manila card is a type of paper. So we are saying that the manila card should be A3. But for me not to maybe worry you much, you can use any size. Okay, it can be A4. A4 is just like your full scan. That's the size. What you have in the A4 sheet, that's the size of the A4. Double of that sheet is the A3. So double of it is the A3. Double of the A3 is the A2. So the lesser the number, the bigger the paper. The lesser the number, the bigger the paper. So so the materials, one, you would need, it can be A3, but as I said, if you don't have manila card, you can use bond paper. If you don't have manila card, which is A3, you can use A4 manila card or A3 or A4 bond paper. Then you need to get acrylic or poster. Good. If you cannot buy acrylic or poster, you can create your own pigment. How do you create your pigment? Get some leaf. You can use green leaf. It's enough. All right. You can get any color. So you get a green leaf, which is not poisonous. Okay, which is not poisonous. Any green leaf. Let me state it emphatically so that you're not going to poison yourself. So any green leaf in your vicinity, which is not poisonous. All right. Mash it. Add a bit of this thing to it. If you want to make it a permanent ink, then you can add starch to it. You cook your starch. Okay, when you cook your starch, you add it to it so it becomes the binder so that it can last longer. So you have created your own color. Okay, you have created your own color. You don't need to, so you can get green. You can also get any flower which is yellow or whatever flower that you pick, you get the pigment of it. So if the flower is orange, the pigment, the color will be orange. If it is yellow, the color will be yellow. If it is red, the color too will be red. That is if you cannot go out to go to acquire ink. Okay, then you get a flat surface. Okay, a flat surface. That's the palette. Any flat surface. Okay, there you can also get a can whereby you can fetch your ink into. If it is much, it must be in your can. Then water for mixing. All right. Then two different image carriers. So two different image. Don't forget that we have one which is a substrate, and one which is the image carrier. Okay. So that is it. The substrate, that is the body that you are going to print on, and the impression, the one which is having the impression. Then you need pencil and ruler. If there's a need for you to demarcate a place for you to print, you do that. So the instruction is so simple. So the background of the sheet must be painted with a light color. Okay. So the color scheme for the wrapper must be monochrome, including the background color. So monochrome means the use of only one color. Okay. So for me not to possibly restrict you in art, we don't normally restrict. So you are just going to, so as I said, you are going to use the sponge rolling method. You are going to use the fruitage. You are going to use the direct. Let me see which ones. Okay, so the fruitage, the rolling, the stippling, and the stamping. So this can be both either direct or indirect. your print can be direct or indirect. I want to give you that opportunity. Okay, it can be direct or indirect, but the printing, techniques that we are going to use over here would be stamping, would be stapling, would be rolling and footage, so that when we meet, we would discuss it tomorrow. So even if not, once we finish, we can even place it on our platform. Okay, we can even place it on our platform. So that is all that we have to do for today, so that you can practicalize all that we have taught you, so that it will be on your fingertips, so that you will not do what is known as rote learning. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we would be doing as today's presentation is concerned. Thank you so much. If you have any question, kindly ask now. Questions, contribution. Contribution. Yeah. So we have Mavis, we have Misty.
Sir, please, I'm saying that some of us will not be joining, God willing, tomorrow because we don't belong to your group. We just joined.
Oh, okay.
So
okay, so you are at UCC and West School.
Yes,
West School. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But you can practicalize what.
Yes, I'm going to do it, but in
for
case
your
a
own
letter
good.
also comes, I may not join.
No problem.
Thank you, sir. So anytime, I think we are welcome, sir.
Yeah. You are all learning for the same.
Thank you so much.
I don't mention. Okay. Misty. Yeah, Misty first. Then we proceed to Ransford.
Sir, I wanted to ask if you can share with us the model or the books.
Yes, that's why I said we have to be on a platform so that I can, or someone can WhatsApp me, so that I will share it. So that I'll share it.
You.
Yeah. It is your material, so you have to have access to it. All right. Yes. Any one again? Ransford is in. Shadrach, I know you very well, so you need to talk. Shadrach, you need to talk. So I'm expecting you to talk. Yeah, Shadrach, as someone you need to talk. Yes. Yeah, Ransford. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about the models, right? And then my friend has already.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Shadrach, my former student. Talk. I'm listening to you. Or you talk. You talk next time that we meet, right? Okay. All right.
You talk about. Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. And I believe. Yeah.
I want to come back. In fact, I have to applaud you, because today is the first time that learning this course. But what you have taken us through, your tutorials and how you delivered. In fact, I'm very much appreciative.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm also very grateful for your contribution and active participation, and that's the way to go. And we pray that, it's as I said earlier, it's a course that needed to be taught via a practical means. So we have to anything that we say over here would have to be a bit graphical, so that it will create a picture for you to see. Once you are able to put into practice all that I'm telling you, you are good to go, and that is it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution. All right, so we would meet tomorrow for the continuation. We want to finish everything. As I said, if I should teach you printing technology 2, now all of you will run away. You run away. So once we finish getting the basis, then you see that printing technology 2 is even very, very easy to comprehend. So that is a build-up of printing technology 1. Thank you very, very much for coming. I wish you well. Bye for now. Okay, no, sorry, before we say goodbye, Osman. Osman's hand is up.
So looking at the printing technology 2, for tomorrow is supposed to be all centers. Now that you are saying that you want to focus on the 1. When you finish with the 1, then you proceed to the 2. So I don't know how the UCC and WISCO are going to cope with that, because ours is different. So who was supposed to take us today? He was not aware we were supposed to meet today, so we postponed it to Monday. So tomorrow,
so for me, I have my, yes, I get you. I have my constant students. You get it? For me, I have my constant students who are always online with me 24/7. I don't know whether you are aware of that. Please, I hope you are aware that I have my constant students, very constant students. So for my constant students, the ideal thing is that you can never teach printing technology 2 without teaching printing technology 1. You confuse your learners. Your learners will never appreciate it. Then the only way is recall, rote learning, and that is not the motive behind this particular, online, delivery. The online delivery should just be like the traditional classroom delivery, where the learners will be able to apply the concept very well in, day out activities. So if I can do that concurrently tomorrow, but the issue is that if I teach you grave method of teaching, of printing, you will be wondering about just yesterday we did direct printing and today grave. What is the link? Please, I hope you are getting the point, Osman.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you will be wondering why is the link? How is it connected? You will be confused. So initially, the truth of the matter is that when these 2 courses were given to me, initially, I read through everything. I said that no, the best way to help my student is to teach printing technology 1. So I explained it to the coordinator, and he also saw the wisdom in it and said, oh, okay, then that will be very helpful. I said, yeah, that is it. If I were to be teaching you, or someone to be teaching you technology 2 entirely while I'm handling 1, or I am handling 2 and someone is teaching you 1 entirely, that one is a different thing altogether. But still, same learner will be confused, because we need to give you, that kind of background. So the 1 is always the background to the 2. The 1 is always the background. We can't challenge it anywhere. The 1 will always give you. So you see that students excel in when it comes to the examination. You would excel in it. After getting all that you realize that you really enjoy it. So for your regular lecturer, I don't know whether your regular lecturer will also teach 1 and 2.
They said he is to take the 1.
He will take 1.
Yes, the 2 will be you, please.
Okay.
So we're supposed to teach him today, but we're not able because he was not aware. So we decided to join
I
your
get
class.
you. So you only join me. So I'm still going to use, no problem. You can still enjoy that and come and enjoy mine. I hope you are getting a point now, so that you get better understanding. I'm still going to use the same time frame for the 2. So if the whole session is for, let's say, 14 hours, 7 hours is for teaching of let's say, let's say the whole interaction for the semester is 14 hours. If you sum up everything, is 14 hours. You are not going to be, you know, you are not going to lose at all. It will still be 14 hours for 1 and 14 hours for what's the name for 2. Yes, it will not be 7-7. No, it will not be 7-7. So, for instance, today, which is Saturday, we are meeting 4 hours. Tomorrow, 4 hours. So 4 hours, 6, 4, 4. So when I combine, let's say 4, 4, and I'm able to finish. Let's say I'm able to finish 1 within 8 hours. Next week, which is also 4, 4, I'm also going to use that to teach 2, which is still be 8 hours. So eventually we are going to use the same time. I don't know whether you are getting me, Osman. Osman, are you clear?
Let me call you back.
Osman, are you clear? I was explaining something to you. Are you clear?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Richard. Richard.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. There is one document that I have is stating that you are the one who is supposed to handle industrial printing technology 2 for both UCC and WESCO. But the one will be handled by one teacher for the WESCO group, and you are going to handle the all centers.
Yeah, so I'm handling 1 and 2. Okay,
Yeah,
so 1 and 2, exactly. So 1 for online. All right, we have students that are for online, Accra, Zenith. Let me. That's the all center, exactly, in a section of WESCO and UCC. So they will always be with me 24/7. So what I mean is that those who are under UCC and WESCO Center will still have our time to do the 2. But I need to build the understanding for you. So you can still be enjoying your 1 and come and enjoy my 1 if you still want to. All right. Then it means that you even have more opportunities. When it is time for us to move to 2, we move to 2 and do that. And that will be very helpful to the students. I hope it's clear now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Okay. Because if I want to teach you maybe lithography, I'm teaching lithography. I don't know how I can teach lithography without teaching you, you know, something on rolling. A technical rolling. I can never, you will never get it. You will never get it. So when you get the rolling technique, which is the manual, and I'm teaching lithography, then you'll be able to apply the concept that, okay. So that is the advanced form. I don't know whether you are okay with that. So you now say, okay. So this is the advanced form. This is the, the latest form of printing. So that is it. So we are going to advance. So, technology 2 is the advanced form of printing. Is the advanced form of printing. So when I even share the materials with you, you will understand, you will appreciate it better. You will appreciate what I'm talking about. Okay, so thank you so much. All right, so we would meet. So don't forget to do the assignment for me, because that will be for the 2 hours. So you are going to do the assignment. So it's not going to be rescheduled as we plan. So use that time for the rest of the 2 hours for the assignment, so that we will show it. But kindly add me to my number is 024. My number is 02451. And so you can pick it. You can pick the number 0245153 220 024 51 53 220. Yeah, 024 51 53 220. So Richard has inscribed it. So the name is Benjamin Liveson, popularly known as Artistic. So that is it. Thank you very much for coming. I wish you all the best.